Are you tired of losing in ranked because you get constantly outplayed? Well, in this video, I will give you a complete ranked guide. This will include how to draft, what brawlers you should be picking, and in-game strategies to take your ranked gameplay to the next level. Let's get into it. Now, right before we get into it, a tip for you is to upgrade a few core brawlers to the max level instead of trying to upgrade many brawlers at once. The power difference between brawler levels is bigger than ever before, so upgrading a few solid brawlers, preferably ones with hypercharges, will give you a big advantage over other players. Now you want these brawlers to be very versatile, and that you can play in many game modes if your other brawlers are picked or banned. My suggestions are Penny, Stu, Surge, and Juju to upgrade. Now you don't have to upgrade these specific brawlers, but make sure the brawler can be played in most modes and won't be nerfed anytime soon. Now moving on to the first phase, which is drafting. Now before you even start drafting your brawlers, you have to pay attention to what map, mode, and modifier have been selected. Now usually, you want to ban brawlers that are the most broken in the game, but that can change depending on the map and modifier. For example, in quickfire brawlers like Gale and Jean become extremely broken, and on maps like shooting star brawlers like Piper, Belle and Nani become extremely strong, even though they aren't the best in the meta. Now, if there is a broken brawler in the meta like Kenji and Buzz Lightyear, your first instinct might be to ban them straight away, but that isn't always the best option. If you have first pick, it's best to not ban that broken brawler, so your teammate who picks first can take it, and it leaves the pressure to the second pick team to ban that brawler. Now, in saying this, you want to ban the second and third most broken brawlers, so the team that picks second can't take them. Now, what you don't want to do is pick an easily counterable brawler as first pick, like a thrower or a tank, unless it's broken. This is a great way to throw the draft, and it gives the enemy team an opportunity to pick a hard counter to that brawler, making it useless for the rest of the game. This is still true in the second and third picks, since there are still more players that can counter those brawlers. So on second and third pick, it's best to pick a brawler that can't be easily countered and pairs well with the brawlers on your team. For example, if your teammate picks a tank, then you can pick a support like Byron or a Gus that pairs well with tanks. Something that you can do on the second and third pick is to go a brawler that can be countered easily, then pick that brawler's hardest counter so the enemy will have trouble countering that brawler. Now on the final three picks, you will have less brawlers to choose from, but you are able to see what the previous players have picked and counter them. You will also have less chance of being countered since it's the final picks. Now, once 5 of the 6 brawlers have been picked, it's time for the last pick, which is arguably the hardest to execute well. Now you don't have to worry at being countered, and you can just focusing on countering the enemy team and pairing well with your teammates. Now, it's not always going to be easy to counter all 3 brawlers on the enemy team, but with nearly 100 brawlers in the game, I'll always be a brawler to counter at least 2 of the enemy team. For example, if the enemy team is full of throwers and snipers, the Buzbinu, you can go an assassin like Edgar Mortis or Maiko, or if they have a tanky team, going someone like Colette or Gale would be the best option. Drafting can be difficult to grasp at the start, but the best thing you can do is just keep playing and practicing, and over time your drafting skills will improve. Now that you have drafted your brawlers, and hopefully brawlers with good matchups against the enemy team, now we can get on to the actually gameplay. But before we do, if you're enjoying this video so far, please consider subscribing because it really means the world to me when you show support. Now that you have subscribed, we can move on. In most game modes and maps, the game will be played in 3 lanes, a left, right, and middle lane. The best play will be to play one brawler in each lane, with the more aggressive brawlers on the outside lanes and the controller in the middle to dictate play. Now, before you even move into the lanes, you want to have a good matchup. For example, if I am a Colette and the enemy team has a tank, then I want to figure out where that tank is and make sure I'm in the same lane as them. Now that matchup doesn't have to be perfect every time, but good enough that everyone on your team has a chance at countering their lane. Now this is very important if you're getting countered in your lane. It is a very good idea to switch lanes with your teammate. This will hopefully give you a better matchup and get you back into the game. Now, when in the game, you want to be constantly pressuring the enemy team back into spawn or make them group up or do something to put them in a bad position. And there are a few ways to do this. The first way is to pinch an enemy brawler. Pinching is when there is an enemy brawler isolated and two of your teammates shoot at that brawler to quickly take them down. This is most to take down a high bounty or a gem carrier, or to take down an enemy brawler to gain map control. This is a simple but complicated move, and it can be even useful in many situations. Now, a great way to make the enemies group up is for the players on the lanes to stay as wide as possible and slowly move the enemy towards the middle. This can be done by hitting your shots wide of the brawler, forcing them to move into the middle. When they are grouped up, it will be easier for your team to take them out and make that decisive play. Another tip for you guys is when your team is in the lead in gem grab, hot zone, or another mode, one or two of your teammates should push up and play aggressively. If they can delay the opponents from getting to that high-profile teammate. If you can take time away from the opponents and delay them, that it will give you more time on the hot zone or pick up more gems. Now, a very important tip for you guys, if you are playing assassins, is to always count the opponent's ammo before going in. I can't say the number of times I have seen a random Mortis or Edgar just jump in blindlessly and die every time, then they complain why they aren't getting kills. But if you count the opponent's ammo and dodge a few shots before jumping in, you will win way more interactions. And that's what separates a Diamond Edgar player from a Masters Edgar player. I will show you some examples of this. Now that you all hopefully know how to count ammo, my next tip will build on from that, and it is to know how many ammo it will take to take down an enemy brawler. Now, what I mean by this is, if I am a Surge, and I know it takes 3 shots to kill this Edgar, then I won't have to waste any more ammo trying to kill him, and it will work out way better. Now that I have covered the most important strategies and things you should be doing on game, I will now cover some extra tips to make the push a little bit easier. The first thing you want to do, and it is what a lot of pros are doing, and it is to duo queue in ranked. Now, the reason for this is because if you queue in teams, you will be facing off against other teams. And if you are trying to push high, you don't want to be facing off against a fully stacked pro team, which you have little to no chance of winning. So the best bet is to play within a duo, so you don't face off against those teams, and you will only have to deal with one random on your team. This also allows you to plan your picks and bans, like I talked earlier before the match, so you have some idea on what you're doing when you get into the game. So the next extra tip I have for you is to watch your replays. Now, you don't have to watch all of your replays, but if it is a close game, the team that you lost, you can go back and analyze where things went wrong for you, so next time you know what to avoid and how to improve it. And the final tip for you guys is to watch the pro players play. There is not better way to improve and understand the game more than watching the best players on the world. A lot of the pro players live stream every day, so you can see how they draft, what strategies they use, and how they use certain brawlers. Alright guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it because it took a lot of time and effort, and if you did, I highly recommend you to watch this video right here where I reveal to you the 10 best brawlers for ranked. Let me know what videos you want for this channel in the future. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.